Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all of you watching. Thank you for joining us. I honestly, every time I'm with a live audience, I feel it. I cannot tell you the buzz I feel. It is so different. Sometimes when I'm teaching from my little office in Oak Park, and I'll say, if I only had you in here. And the difference for me, because I can feel aligned to you, and I can tell when I'm teaching something if I'm off the mark, which is so rare. But it's but you know what I mean. I love because you talk to me with every part of you. Your energy talks to me. Your eyes talk to me. Your soul talks to me. Your heart talks to me, and I feel it. I feel it. So good morning. I want to begin. There's so much to teach, so we're going to condense and go straight up. It is so exquisitely important for me, and for Robert, but I'll speak for me first, to communicate to you how powerful getting to the symbolic, archetypal level of your perceptual system is. So that's our goal. Our goal is to get you to maneuver at the high altitude of your perceptual system, to be a Jedi, okay? But there's not a simple formula. You are going to try and do that by thinking there must be a way, and that's not it. This is a lifestyle. This is a living relationship to your power. This requires you understanding the world differently, yourself differently, you establishing a very different relationship with how you understand the construction of life itself and how you conduct yourself within every decision you make and every choice you make. This isn't like you asking me to teach you mathematics so that you stop going into debt. I am going to try and help you not to go into energetic debt. But that requires that you take on your greatest adversary, and your greatest adversary is yourself. And so we have to go into that. You are your greatest adversary. For me, learning about the archetypal realm, accessing the archetypal realm, took years and years and years of doing readings. And I progressed. I didn't even know anything. Zero. So it progressed for me from starting readings in 1983. And I approached it the way you approach everything as well. You approach everything. You're walking in my footsteps through logic and order, thinking everything, including ourselves, including illness, including healing, follows a logical and orderly map because that's how our banking works. That's how we want relationships to work. But if I had a pause button, I would ask you, how many of your crises follow logic? Absolutely zero. And you get into a crisis because you assumed logic. And that was your error. So the error, the source of so much of your crises, comes through that assumption. And it is archetypal because you all do it. It is a pattern. It is a control pattern that you lasso around something that says, this is how I want this situation, this conversation, this contract, this to unfold. I want it to unfold logically according to my system of justice. Your system of fairness is based on what has happened to you in the past. So you think if you're owed something, that should be worked into how this works itself out. Well, I suffered in the past, therefore I am due. You're due what? You're not due anything in my court. I'm not due anything in your court. So what are you talking about? Exactly what are you talking about? But for you, you will factor that in. Except it is meaningless, and that's what you forget. It means nothing except to you. And then when things backfire, you will scream, this isn't fair. Oh my God, it is so unfair. And then you will yank out your history and again drip over it in therapy. But you don't understand what happened to me. To which I would respond, and I don't care. I really don't. Nor does anyone else. I don't know how to break it to you. But I am the emissary of that news on behalf of everybody else. Stop it. Now, are you understanding the confusion with which you have created your life? You, archetypally, have gotten into patterns that simply are catastrophic for you. They produce nothing, and yet you insist in your relationships that they produce something. Fairness for you, sympathy from others, the best seat in the house because you suffered. I remember one time when I was in Moscow, and for some reason I always ended up in Russia in the wintertime. Who does that? Me. And it was so bloody cold. It was 30 below zero without the wind chill. 30 below zero. And you know what? This is how crazy those Russians are. I was walking across Red Square with someone, and the Russians were eating ice cream, and it wasn't like freezing to their mouth, and I don't know how that happened, but I was following them, and I was looking at that and saying, what's wrong with them? And now we were waiting to get on a bus. And I don't remember why the hell I was waiting to get on a bus, but there I was with all these other Russians, and they were all in these big furs, and those black Russian fur hats, you've seen them, yeah? With the flaps and all this. And I was mesmerized. I thought, I'm actually here. And I was so mesmerized I wasn't that cold. I couldn't believe it. There was the Kremlin, and I was enchanted, even in the cold. Until I was waiting so long on this bus. And I was with this dear friend of mine who is a Russian astronomer, and how I met him, we'll do that for another time. But, although it's a great story. And this Russian came up, and he passed everybody waiting in line, and he grumbled something, and everybody stood back. And then he got on the bus first. And it was this crowded bus, and the rest of us couldn't get on. And I said, what was that about? And he said, he fought at Stalingrad. So he pulled out the wound card. Mind you, a worthy wound, if you know anything about the Battle of Stalingrad, which I do. But the Russian wounds. Okay, who suffers more? Now, I want to hit a pause button here. When we talk about the era of transformation, what are we talking about? One of the biggies that we are talking about is how we conduct ourselves within our psyche, and therefore with each other, and how we change the rules of how we live life. And one of the rules that we have to change, and we must change because the world can't take it anymore. The world is exploding because of this archetypal pattern, is that suffering should give us a reward. By whom? Who's supposed to reward you because you've suffered? Exactly who? Who owes you? Who? And by what right do you have to hurt anybody else because you've had a bad day? Or a bad childhood? Or a bad anything? And mind you, I am not coming across with an unsympathetic heart. What I am saying is we have to route our understanding of the human experience to a new level that says, you know what? This is the human experience. Nobody gets off scot-free. And if we have any understanding at all about karma, about multiple lives, we have no right to bitch about all that happens in a lifetime. We can't have it both ways. We cannot say, oh, there's karma, there's this or that, but look at the burden of this lifetime. And then you cannot expect to incorporate knowledge from other lifetimes, lifetimes you have lived, lifetimes you have yet to live. And expect that that energetic, cosmic knowledge can assist you if you cannot bear what is happening to you in this life. Because that is how you jam the circuits. By bitching about what's happening in this life, and yet expecting alliedship from the other realms. There is a reason why all spiritual traditions, every one of them, the mystical path in every spiritual tradition is so arduous. And what makes it so arduous is that you are shedding the small self in you that expects so much from one lifetime. From one lifetime. I expect love and comfort and health and this and explanation, and you have to figure out why everything happens as it does, and then I want more. From one lifetime. One lifetime to fill your bucket. One lifetime. I want to understand why every pain happened. I want to understand this, and how come I'm so unhappy? And I want to be born for something great, but I don't want to pursue it unless it's guaranteed safety, and I want a lot of money, and where's my attention? And I want to be something special. Look at your bucket list. And you can't do a damn thing without some kind of guarantee that you won't lose money. Look at the guarantees that you want. That you won't fail. You won't look at it. Have I made a point here? Yes. I always wonder how people pray. People will say to me, do you have any prayers that work? And I'm like, Jesus. Children. Cherubs. This is hardball. If you knew how powerful you were, you would accept the one task you might have, which is to be fully you. However that fully you is. And that you have to shrink yourselves back down to size, to being content to be grains on the ocean of life and not want the whole ocean, and to actually start getting that an act of love is more powerful than buying a city. That you start measuring things by how much light this will cost you, instead of how much money. You can recover money in a few months, but you will take a lifetime to recover your light, and even then not do a good job. And you might need lifetimes to recover the mismanagement of your light. The mismanagement of your light. To send your soul on a mission of darkness is the most foolish thing you can do. Like when Jesus was in the desert, and after he was just about to start his mission, his brief 3 years in a lousy little dump in the middle of nowhere, a sand pit, with a handful of illiterate people, and he changes the world forever. I mean, when I think about that, that makes my jaw drop. It just makes my jaw drop. And the simplicity and beauty of his message, will you just love each other? And if I'll show you the power of that love, because it is the power of the life force. It comes from this universe, from the place that I come from. And if you call upon this force, it will come through you, because the Father, that force that made all, will come through you. The more I did readings on us, the more I got it. Not to become a Christian, but to become a cosmic force, a holy cosmic force. That's when I got on my knees and I said, oh my God, that's who you were. It's not about being a Christian or a Catholic, but boy, oh boy, did I get it. And I got what Buddha was about. There's so much to teach you, it's like I'm on fire with it. So, point is that this is who you are, and I'm telling you right now, the more you shrink yourself down to bite-sized level, the more powerful you are. All these mystics who went into all their journeys, it was all about them getting that I am really, the more invisible I am, the more quiet I am. The more I use the power of my heart, the more I use the power that is invisible, the more powerful I am. So if I said to you, and this is what I've learned through healing, when you're in trouble and you come to me and you say, I have a terminal illness, what do you think you need to heal? Your money? Your houses? Your reputation? Every physical tool, your jewels? Every physical thing you have is useless. Everything. Your address. Every physical thing you've acquired is absolutely useless. What your toolbox, if you open it up, should be fully Buddha empty. What should be in your toolbox is where's your endurance? I can't see it, but you better know, you better discover it. Endurance, integrity, hope, faith, trust. These are the things you can't see, but you better know they're more real than anything that you can show up with in that box. There's nothing in the physical world that can help you. Absolutely nothing. So what's real? What's actually real? What's actually of value? Your light. Not anything you can touch. Nothing you can touch can save your life. Is that not incredible? So, what is God? God is light. God is love, not schmaltz love. Big, huge. All there is. And when we can feel it, if God said, you want to feel what I feel like? Go hold on to someone you love. And that's as close as you can get to me while you're in the physical world. Which is why when you love someone that much, there isn't anything you won't do for that person, because there's nothing I won't do for you. There's no, I am in all things. I am in all things. I am all things. I'm not in all things, I am all things. Which is why molecules dissolve into light. When you get this, it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. You are everywhere. I am breathing you. Okay. And God is law. So, what is consciousness about? It's about deciding what rules am I going to play by. The laws of matter or the laws of energy. And eventually, the laws of energy become the laws of grace. The laws of grace.